The shinobi world is a dangerous one. In order to survive, one must be strong. In order to be strong, a nation must have resources. It must have wealth, military might. Those are the powerful nations. And what happens to the smaller villages, those who don't have military might? They spend all their money purchasing the services of those who are part of these bigger villages. It is for that reason they will forever remain reliant on these larger villages. A world that is run on war needs soldiers. During the Third Shinobi War, the three Sannin came across a particular village with three particular children. The land hidden in the rain, ravaged by the current war that raged on. Konan, Yahiko, and Nagato, three orphans united and orphaned by the war, by the shinobi world. Because the three great lands that surround the rain were unstable, the hidden sand, the leaf, and the stone caught in another shinobi war, the village hidden in the rain has been hit the hardest. As the three orphans grew older, they created the first version of the akatsuki. Yahiko's akatsuki was created to try and save the rain, and save the shinobi world as a whole in a fashion that lent itself towards peace. Danzo and Hanzo of the salamander quickly put those peaceful ambitions to rest. Change happens radically, and Nagato, hands wet with Yahiko's blood, decided to take a different path to achieve that initial goal. The Shinobi Creed creates individuals like Danzo Shimura, like Hanzo, people who believe that it is in their right to do anything if it means they've protected their village from those who might cause them harm. Danzo uses the Shinobi principle to defend the slaughter of countless Uchiha, those who possess the eyes that he hides on his right arm. It's the same creed that Tobirama used to defend the punishment of the Uchiha. The shinobi world is full of traitors and backstabbers, full of individuals with their own agendas, and full of hidden leaders. The shinobi world is full of darkness. It's a world that indoctrinates children as early as the age of 5 and has them quickly abandon their childhood to instead become soldiers for their villages. These villages marvel at child prodigies and immediately decide to place them in elite operative groups and expose them to the true evils of the shinobi world. These children suffer, all to try and protect a village that does not protect them. The likes of Kakashi and Itachi, geniuses whose lives quickly become tainted by death so early on. And in a sense, these are the lucky ones. Cases like Haku or Kimimaru, children who don't have the backing of a village, or the warmth and light of a friend to guide them. A child soldier and a kid who was tested on by another disillusioned member of this shinobi world. People like Orochimaru. This is the reality, the darkness, the cruelty of the shinobi world, and the Akatsuki stands to try and change things. The current iteration of Akatsuki members have banded together despite their differences to achieve a singular goal. In addition to looking at the philosophy of the Akatsuki, I want to look at each individual group and the inherent duality that exists in these iconic duos. Beginning with Sasori and Deidara, what unites these two characters is art. Deidara's most common line and catchphrase is that art is an explosion. The clay-molding shinobi's ability is very much in line with his beliefs. Deidara's ability molds clay and explodes the clay that he creates. He often fashions these bombs into what he considers art. It's art before the art. Birds, spiders, etc. Deidara's battle environment, his opponent, his audience are all factors that he appraises before making his art. These things are his canvas and he has to set it properly in order to ensure that his art is perfect. True art is revolutionary, incendiary, an explosion, he says. For Deidara, the creation of his clay, refining the lines, crafting its form, is art. But the explosion, what the object does after its death, makes its existence that much more sublime. True art lives only in that brief flash of sublimation. In addition to that, he creates so many little explosions. He has so many clay objects that have been formed that, in a sense, his art lasts much longer than that brief flash because of the sheer quantity of his explosions. Destruction is creation. Destruction is art. Sasori, on the other hand, his relationship with art has much to do with what he has experienced. Sasori of the Red Sand was quickly orphaned after his parents were killed. Like any child would, he desired their touch, so much so that he created their puppets. As Sasori grew, the only warmth he would feel was from these cold puppets, a warmth that did not last. As Sasori killed and killed, a desire to create beauty that would last grew inside of him, a desire to create companions that wouldn't leave him. The third Kazekage would be his next victim. As stated by himself, art is a work of beauty captured and left for posterity, the beauty of all eternity. To Sasori, art is something that transcends time. The art of preserving a form and rebuilding it is what he values most, which explains why Sasori's final puppet, himself, as an indestructible and infinitely reparable body, is his magnum opus. For Sasori, art is quality over quantity. Art unites these two characters, as one is obsessed with the small amounts of awe that an explosion grants, and the other strives to have his art outlast even his own humanity. Though Sasori calls Deidara's art pyrotechnics and scoffs at him, and Deidara describes Sasori's art as a grotesque puppet show, they both respect each other, and they understand each other as artists. Art is a matter of perspective, it's subjective in nature, and so are their arguments. Their perspectives are inherently reflective of what they've been through, and so their argument will never find a true conclusion. It's a lifetime of loneliness against the pure ecstasy of a single moment. Ironically, Sasori predicts that Deidara is the type to die an early death, while Sasori died in his very first battle that we saw him in, and one of the few times he got to use his true form. A form that was intended to last eternity, instead lasted mere moments. But I think his inability to take his grandmother down, his desire not to, was art in a sense. It was poetic. A man who's refuted his humanity, to the point where he believed that his emotions were no more.